Welcome to Encounters. These programs are an attempt to explore the process of reconciliation in South Africa, to bridge the gap between the old and the new, to bring together former enemies, torturers and tortured, persecutors and persecuted, victors and victims. Our purpose is to try and gain an understanding of the individuals involved in the saga, whether heroes or villains, to explore individual responsibility for some of the terrible things that happened in that dark period of our recent history. Our first encounter brings us here to the presidential mansion in Pretoria, where Nelson Mandela is about to sit down to lunch with the man who sent him to prison for more than a quarter of a century, the chief prosecutor at the Rivonia trial, Dr. Percy Utah.
Hello, Doctor. How are you?
Very pleased.
Well, you still look young and fresh.
Very kind of you to say that. I'm very grateful to you.
No, you're looking very well. You still remember Mr. Catarada?
Father, of course
Yes?
I do. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you.
That's good.
Go through to the lounge, sir. We're going to have lunch in the green lounge.
Oh, I see. Oh, good. Oh, yes, thank you. Please sit down now, please.
Thank you.
What? Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you still take cases? Oh, good.
Busy.
Very good.
I'm a bit fussy and I want to supervise everything myself.
A brilliant prosecutor, Dr. Percy Utah led the state's case against Nelson Mandela and his colleagues at Rivonia.
By the latter half of 1961, the African National Congress had decided to embark upon a policy of violence and destruction. These organizations, my lord, having been banned, decided to go underground, for which purpose it was absolutely necessary to obtain suitably secluded premises from which to direct their underground activities.
Was occupied by a front man, Arthur Goldreich. His lifestyle was such that the police would never ever suspect what was happening. Our farm was 22 acres and Arthur and his children on a Saturday morning would go out horse riding and so forth.
Now Rivonia had been used by Mr. Mandela before.
Now we were not staying in the main house in Rivonia, which was occupied by Goldreich. We were staying in the outhouses, which were normally supposed to be occupied by the staff. But we met for one purpose, and that was to be the last meeting. Everybody was told this will be the last meeting.
It was the 11th of July. I think it was 11th of July.
It was a Thursday. I had come back on the night of the 10th when there was nobody there. And the next day, of course, people started coming. And the combi load of these chaps came from their farm, from the ANC farm, Sisulu.
Governor Mbeki was there, Raymond Mhlaba was there. Wilton Mkwai was not there. Dennis Goldberg was our driver. He was sitting outside.
We were going through a document called Operation Mayabuya, which became quite an important document in the Rivonia trial. And while we had just started that meeting, and this dry cleaning van came in, we didn't take notice of it because there were always butchers or dry cleaners or some grocers coming in there to deliver things. But then when we looked out, the doors of the van opened and we saw police jump out of that with dogs and so forth.
They went straight to the main building and then some of them came straight to us.
Some of us, like I think it was Mr. Sisulu and I, jumped out of the back window.
I had made up my mind that once I get out of the window, I knew my directions here, that I'll be able to escape.
But the whole place was surrounded.
They ordered, stop or shoot. So we were arrested. That's how we were arrested.
The police will relate, my lord, who they found at Rivonia, and in particular how some of the accused were disguised beyond recognition, particularly